everybody. It is Kathy. Come on in, come on in, come on in. This is a very, very special live stream. I'm joined by four of my favorite eBay seller friends, Cheryl and Scott and Libby and Tiffany. And I have invited them in to join me to share tips. There is nothing better than hearing from eBay sellers what is working right now. And again, with eBay, some things work, this time of year, some things work the other time of year. So it's always good to check in with sellers and a variety of sellers, which is why I invited Cheryl and Scott and Libby and Tiffany. You want to check with a variety of people because one person might be experiencing one thing, let's say a lot of returns, and somebody else is like getting no returns. So if you listen to one seller, you're thinking, oh, I'm going to get returns. That's why you need to listen to one person and, if possible, a variety, because you're going to get the best information. The other reason I invited Cheryl and Scott and Libby and Tiffany is they all have great work ethic, great philosophy, very positive people. Again, deal with a lot of bumps, a lot of changes, and they've all had a lot of changes in their eBay selling, but are very proactive in finding solutions so that when you hit a bump, when you have a problem, rather than go, just to go, okay, or you might go, but then go, okay, what can I do about this? How can I make this work? What do I need to do to keep the ball rolling? So I am going to start introducing them, and what they'll be doing is they'll be letting you know a little bit about their business. We're going to be saying their eBay store, so you can check them out, of course, shop with them. Some great sales tips and things they're doing now to keep themselves on track in their business. So I'm going to start out with Libby. Libby is it Conchi? Is that how I pronounce it, Libby?
Conchi, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Conchi Consignments. And just one thing about Libby, and I'll let her introduce herself. In Pennsylvania, Libby had a brick and mortar. So she actually had a physical store and chose to go completely online. And this is before all the pandemic and everything. So she has a lot of retail experience and then took that and came onto eBay as an extremely successful seller. And she sells a very large variety, which is why I wanted to bring her to. So Libby, explain your business model, what different kinds of things you sell, and your top tip right now.
Okay, well, I'm in the Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, which is a little outside Allentown, in case you're familiar with that area. Another change I experienced was in the middle of this, probably about 4 years ago, I moved myself and my business an hour north. So that was interesting. On top of moving from the storefront to all online, I actually physically moved locations as well. So there's been a lot of adapting and, a lot of change. I run a consignment business and we do everything. The trick and this is where social media insiders really came to help me, was because we sell such a wide variety of items, we don't advertise all those items. Like, our target audience is somewhat different. Like, I'd like to say we sell everything, including the kitchen sink, because yes, we have sold kitchen sinks. They're fun to ship, by the way. So social media insiders really helped me to narrow down that focus and see where social media was going to help, what my target customer is, while still allowing me to sell a great variety of items. I do local pickup as well on eBay.
So it's selling a variety. Now, Libby, is everything consignment that you sell on eBay?
Let's say 90% of what I sell is consignment. My family and I are hobbyists, kind of going to auctions. We enjoy that a lot. So we will pick up items and sell them. Like my son, he's going to be 16. He does typewriters. And, we'll go to auctions, we'll get those, he'll research and clean them up and sell them. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Now, so you're saying for you, when you came and joined my membership group, Social Media Insider, what's helped you the most is really focusing on who your customer is, so that even though you sell a huge variety, focus on who your typical customer is, so that when you do social media, and do look at Libby, because she's very active on her Facebook business page and Instagram, in having a huge variety of items, really focusing on who your typical customer is, has really helped you with your social media.
Incredibly. And I didn't know where to start. And I definitely, I see a lot of people kind of make that mistake. I want to sell a very large variety of items, but I don't want to market, I don't know, let's say a part for a water heater I have in like a thermocoupler. Like, I don't necessarily want to market that. That's not my target audience. So, just narrowing down and putting in marketing to my ideal customer, but still being able to have this crazy variety store is.
That sounds great. Now, where do you store everything? Is everything in your home? Where is your inventory?
Yeah, it's almost all in my home. Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic.
And then I have another member of Social Media Insiders that works with me, and she's in North Carolina. So she stores things there in her location as well. Yeah.
And you both selling under Constant Consignment?
Mm-hmm.
So it's great you got a partner. That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Scott, you're in Virginia, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And Scott's has built his business on eBay to the point where he now is offsite. He's actually got an office. So Scott, explain how that developed with your eBay selling. And Scott is Whoosh Trade, WUCH Trade, all one word
Right.
on eBay.
Yeah, no one can ever pronounce it. I started off kind of like everybody else, just saw the power of eBay and the potential there to make money. Started it in the house, and within 6 months, it became apparent I couldn't be in the house because it just too much inventory and too much order processing and that kind of thing. So I rented some office space and storage space along with it, and just have never looked back. I sell all brand new merchandise. I get it from either wholesalers, like through ASD Online, go through wholesalers, and then I do buy overstock, like bulk would be one company that I go through, and I always keep an eye out for businesses that are going out of business.
And sadly, there's a lot of those right now, Scott.
Oh yeah, and not so much for their
inventory.
Oh yeah, not so much for their inventory. Like I go in and look for clothing or something. I like to take their business equipment, their pricing guns or their phone system or cash registers, things like that. I went to a local Kmart here, was going out of business. Long story short, it turned out they had a small shipping center in the back that I never knew they did. Apparently people would buy on Kmart.com and the store would package it up for $10. I gave the guy $10. I still have a huge supply of shipping supplies. They had boxes and cases and cases and cases of padded mailer and tape. And even though the store was going out of business, this stuff they never even brought out to the floor to even try to get rid of. To them, it was just kind of trash.
Scott, that is a great tip with
but
these.
To me, shipping supplies were, well, I'm going to save half my cost on shipping supplies. This is several percent of my gross sales that I'm getting for free.
So you basically kept all the shipping supplies that you were able to source from businesses going out. You're not selling this on eBay. Basically, you now don't have to buy all of it.
I don't have to buy it. Yeah, it saves me money. And then I also have my own private label product. So I was buying merchandise and I was getting it from China, and they were putting logos on there that were copyrighted. And I did a little research and figured out pretty quick that, hey, I can't be selling this. Not long term, not if I want to be in business for years. So I reached out to them and said, hey, these are copyrighted. It's infringement. I can't sell this stuff, but people are going crazy for these items. They want them. So I ended up making up a name randomly, putting it on the product, and it's Hero Bar Knife and Tool. And basically it's just like little pocket knives, watch tools to adjust your watch, things like that, little odds and ends stuff. And that has taken off tremendously.
Like the little repair kits and everything, because that's the kind of thing that people want and people may not think of. Again, we're thinking coffee.
Like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
My push this year for social media is going to be to push that. I have my Wooch Trade page, but then also I have my Hero Bar Knife and Tool. This morning I woke up with 5 new likes for Hero Bar Knife and Tool. People, I don't know who they are or how they found me, but they are enthusiasts or collectors, and they're now I now have more followers. So that's going to be my emphasis this year is going to be on that private label and really getting that pushed.
Good for you, Scott, because your Facebook business page, I know you know this because you're in Social Media Insider with me, but that really will help that item because you have that private label item. It will really help rank on Google search.
Oh, yeah.
Google and internet search. Facebook usually ranks very, very high. So not only because eBay's paying, for words and everything as far as knives, pocket knives, but that will really help. It'll help you. And also, if they just Google you because they're buying a pocket knife, they're not familiar with the brand. So if they Google the brand or if they Google you, you're going to rank, and it goes to credibility. So good for you to do that.
And I have my own website, hosting my own website for that product as well. So sometimes I'm able to convert people over to that as just permanent customers.
That's fantastic. Now, how is the membership, the Social Media Insider membership? Because you've been with me for a couple of years. How's it helped you?
September 2018. You had opened it up in the fall, and I just took a chance and thought, well, it's not a contract or anything. You can quit anytime. I was, well, let me try it and see. And I've learned tremendous apart. I mean, a couple of things for me. One is the quality of people that are in the group. You're with very like-minded people, very successful-minded people. Unlike out in the public forums, there's a lot of negativity. There's a lot of people that just don't want to take accountability or responsibility. If their item doesn't sell, you need to look at your listing. You need to look at your pictures. You need to look at your return policy. You need to, and a lot of people are very quick to, blame eBay or blame some other source. Also, one other thing I really like is Kathy is the ultimate myth buster. So there's a lot of myths and things out there like, hey, if you had any sales, call eBay the first Tuesday of the month, and they can press this magic button and refresh your account. And, I sold 30 items the next day. Well, so people start putting things out there, and it's easy to start believing things or questioning things. So if the information's in here, it's legit. You'll hear rumors before they've come out. Like she'll say, hey, there's a rumor going to come out, but it's not true. You might hear this, or, I'm getting more information on this. A lot of ideas are shared in this group. I've come up with a lot of different approaches to things, and there's a lot of help here if you need it. If you have a question, if there's something you don't understand, you post, and 10 minutes later, you have multiple replies typically.
Thank you, Scott.
To get your questions answered. But I love the enthusiasm. I love the positivity. Yeah, I'm gaining a lot through the how to do social media and how to promote my product. But I just like the group of people, the energy of the people in this group. It really wears off, and just the positivity, the daily, hey, I got my coffee, I'm getting started, the accountability posts, things like that are very motivating to know you're not alone. You're not out here alone.
Thanks, Scott. I love watching your business grow too. Cheryl and I have known each other for years. Cheryl is in Missouri. And you tell me now, her store is Funkarelics. Cheryl sells a huge variety of items and has for years and years and years. You tell me, tell us a little bit about your business and how long you've been selling on eBay, which is quite a while. And what's your top tip right now? Because you've seen a lot of trends, a lot of things change. Because we always talk about this. We go down memory lane.
Yeah, Funkarelics. I started out as a newbie. I was liquidating my mom's estate. She lived in St. Louis. I'm actually near Wichita, Kansas. So we brought it all. Okay. And I learned eBay by selling that. And I learned that I really loved the business. And so I went to auctions and estate sales, and I sell across dozens of categories, mostly vintage and collectibles, but also toys and new stuff. And just recently I added anime and stuffed animals and anime animals to that. And so that would be my one tip for COVID selling is, I lost all my on-site estate sales for the longest time. They're just now coming back in Kansas. And so I went online for some of them, but one way that I got this new line, I saw what stuffed anime animals were going for on eBay. And I got online, and I remembered I'm pretty good at claw machines when I was a kid. And so I started winning. And I got, right now, there's like 350 stuffed animals in my house because there was one place that I figured out how to do it really cheap. And so I just, you've got to just be open to crazy stuff, even something you're good at, something you had knowledge of before you started eBay. And then the other thing is to be flexible, because about 2 weeks ago, this company in Japan like totally disappeared overnight. And that whole thing is gone now. And that's okay. I'm tired of looking at them anyway, but I've figured out how to get the ones I really want now. But it helped us get through this year. And just the ability to move and shift is so important. And that's really one of the things that has attracted me to Insiders, is that Kathy keeps up with everything. And before Insiders, I would, you have a question about eBay, or I sell on Posh and I sell on Facebook, and I use Pinterest, and I do ads on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat, and all these questions. I'd be going to all these different places trying to find out how to most effectively use that for my business. This is a one-stop shop. You can come here and get credible information. And if Kathy doesn't know, which is very rare, she knows who does, and she will find out. And it's credible, and it's so time-saving. And that's why it's really essential to my business.
Cheryl, I'm so glad to hear that. There's nothing more frustrating than I'll be working with a seller and they have spent hours and hours and hours on something, either a listing or social media. And it's great, but it's 5 years old. It's not what's current. It's not what is going to work now. I mean, even just something basic like colored fonts on eBay, it's just, you don't do that anymore. It was done maybe 5 or 6 years ago. That really what's going to be much more effective is black and white. And you're going to remember this. Do you remember the listings when you used to click on them, they would play music?
Yes.
Right. And maybe because the whole idea was to jolt people or to jar people, to get their attention. And that is not the way to get attention on eBay or social media. You don't want to like jolt them. It's more what's attractive, what's going to get their interest, what's going to bring them in. So that's great. And I love you because you pivoted, because your source of inventory, which was estate sales, was just not available because of everything going on. And rather than going, that's it, I can't do inventory, forget it. It's like, okay, how can I get inventory? I remember when you were sourcing, it's like, how can I get this? Where can I go? I have this idea for this product. How can I source it? So good for you to be so perseverant, because that's how you stay successful over the years. When you see sellers just vanish, typically something like they've had a sourcing problem or they've run into a bump. And rather than pivot and change, they let it stop them. So good. Tiffany, talk about change, because Tiffany's been going through lots of changes. So Tiffany, and I wrote down, Tiffany is Tiffany's Treasures and Trinkets on eBay. Also has a lively Facebook page and Instagram account. And Tiffany's been going through a lot of changes with her business. She's also a consignment seller. Sells a huge variety of items. And I have to say, Tiffany is the person that inspires me with packaging, because she wraps, I actually shopped with her a couple months ago. She wraps things so beautifully. It's like you almost don't want to open it. It's like, oh, I'm just going to look at this for a while. So she helped me just to step up my game in making things more pleasant. It's called the unboxing experience. So Tiffany, definitely tips on sourcing or your packaging or just anything you want to share with us.
Okay. Well, I started out very part-time and just basically selling things around my house because I had a blended family. So we were, blending 2 households and a lot of kids together. And we had a lot of stuff to get rid of when we did that. And so that's how I started. And I worked full-time. So I kind of just did the selling on and off here and there. But in 2018, I switched from working full-time to working part-time as a bookkeeper. And so I thought, since I had extra time, I thought, well, I'll just ramp this up and, make it a thing, just sell more. And I had a friend who's quite the shopaholic, and she overbuys everything, and then she doesn't use it. So
Okay.
she said, well, I've got all this stuff, so maybe you could help me get rid of it. So she just started doing.
Tiffany, just quickly, where are you in the United States?
Oh, I'm in Maryland. I'm like 1 hour from Baltimore, 1 hour from DC.
Okay.
And
so you have a person that loves to shop.
Yeah, so she started giving me all of her stuff.
Right.
And it's all like, most of it was brand new with tags. Like she never wore it. She's also unfortunately someone that fluctuates in weight a lot. So she would buy stuff and she wouldn't wear it, and then she'd outgrow the size or whatever. So there was just a lot of stuff. And for the last 2 years, she's been an endless supply of merchandise. Endless. I still have like about, I think we just went outside and checked yesterday. It's like 14 bins of stuff that I have to list. And it's not all hers, but it's mostly hers. So she's probably a good 75% of my store. Yes, just so I never have to go shop or look for inventory. It just gets dropped on my doorstep.
So her thing is that she has the possessions, and rather have them take over her house is to give them to you, and then you're selling them on a consignment basis. Is that correct, Tiffany?
Yes, I do.
That's cool.
And she loves to get the check every month too. So she loves it, because then she goes buys more stuff that she ends up giving to me later.
And then kind of recycling. What's your top tip right now, Tiffany? And also, Tiffany, what we were talking before. So you have now gone, so you were full-time job, then part-time job, and now recently, and it sounds like your job is trying to tug you back, you're leaving your part-time job and scaling full-time eBay, correct?
I'm trying. I was last week, but then this week, I don't know. Things are changing, but yeah, I'm really trying to get out of that and do full time in my store, because I really want to. Well, one of the things about this group is I see all these other sellers, and it's like I want to be you when I grow up. That's what I've always been feeling like, because I was just this part-time seller, and so I listened to all you guys talking, and I'm like, I want to be that. I want to be able to support myself with this business, and not really there yet, but I'm working on it. So. But for me, my philosophy is, I also sell everything. Like whatever she gives me, pretty much I sell. So, like I just sold a bunch of light bulbs the other day that she gave me, but I also have designer watches. So, whatever, it all works out. And I never give up on an item. I know a lot of people get frustrated if it doesn't sell in a month or 2 months, but I never give up on an item. I just sold a purse the other day that had been listed for 2 years.
Good for you. Now, do you tweak the listing? Do you do a little more social media? Do you do anything to help move it along, Tiffany?
Well, I don't really do social media on them. I probably should, but I do tweak periodically. I go in there and, try different things and mess around with it. And, finally it gets seen. I don't know. I just don't give up on an item. I just keep it. I know a lot of people pull them down and take them to Goodwill or whatever, but I just don't. I just think everything will sell eventually. And I also don't limit myself to the seasons. Like, I sold 5 Halloween items the week of Christmas. Mm-hmm. I'm always listing no matter what season, no matter what it is.
That's a great tip, particularly for our newer sellers, which is Easter will sell year round. Valentine's Day will sell year round. Halloween will sell year round. Christmas, Hanukkah will sell year round, especially now, just with everything going on. I know people that still have their Christmas trees up. So it's like, me too. I said, my husband's like, our tree is still up. And I'm like, I'm still enjoying it. I think maybe around Valentine's, it's an artificial tree too. So nobody thinks like, oh my gosh, it's, it's just, you know what, I'm really enjoying it. So, but people are still, Christmas sells year round, Hanukkah sells year round. So that's a great point, Tiffany, is just, and also clothing season, spring will sell year round, summer will,
right.
We're different than brick and mortar that reason. And that's part of it, because you want a summer dress in the middle of February. They're going to come to eBay. They're going to come to us, because the retailers are stocking winter.
That's why I get so frustrated. Like if you want to go buy a fan at a local brick and mortar store in December, you can't buy one. Mm-hmm. And so, I sell whatever all year long on my store, and you can come look on eBay for it.
It's a great point. And heaters, heaters in July. So just
Right.
wrapping up, because I know everybody has to get back to listing and shipping. Any ideas for just last minute tips, anything that's popped in your head that you want to share?
I actually have something. I think the group has really helped me with this, just the positivity and the just get started. Just get started. Sometimes the biggest hurdle is just get started with that first listing. Like nothing has to be perfect. You might mess something up, but you just need to forge ahead and keep going and don't worry about making a mistake. You can fix it. Just get started. And I think the group has been really motivational. I always say like the best cheerleaders. Like when something good happens, I love to come to the group and share it because I feel like people are genuinely happy for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my big tip would be don't get caught up, especially if you're trying to compare yourself with other sellers. Particularly outside of this group, there's a lot of kind of fake people out there in the world who will post a picture of an 18-wheeler and say, look what I sold over the weekend and I'm a millionaire. And in reality, they're full of it. But if you're a new seller, sometimes you think, well, they're selling, they had 100 sales last night. I had 2. I'm doing something wrong, or I'm not good at this. And you start getting discouraged, or you start with that negative talk. So kind of stick to this group and back to what Libby was saying with the positivity.
Right.
You'll find that support here, and you'll find realistic support here.
Right. And be consistent.
And it's all about profit margin, by the way, as Kathy's kind of drilled into me there. It's not about those gross sales. It's about how much you're really making.
Right.
Yeah, because everybody has different business models. I mean, it used to be the way Walmart is, but Walmart has actually changed, which is only making a little bit, but on a lot. But you have to realize as an eBay seller, particularly if you're a solopreneur, how much time is that taking? Because you're going to have to pack and ship all those items. You're going to go for items that have a bigger profit margin, or with some sellers, there's a mix. So maybe some items I'm not making that much money, but they're bringing traffic into my store, to my listings. Because it's a popular item. I'm thinking back like when fidget spinners were super hot. Remember those? But they help to bring the traffic in because of the people that are attracted to that kind of thing, to go to my other items, to go to my clothing. Again, like with clothing, you sell some lower price items, maybe some costume jewelry that's lower price, because I have some higher price costume jewelry. So it's always about look at margins, look at how much your time. And stay uplifted, like Libby said, is just get going. And some days are tough. Some days it's like, oh, and it's right. And that's why I have Social Media Insider, is that way you just jump into the group and you're like, oh, just help me to get going today. Or you're dealing with a difficult customer, or like what Cheryl said, you have an inventory source dry up, because we did a lot of that in the group, which is, what other places can I get inventory that's going to be good inventory, that's going to be in demand. When I don't have friends like Tiffany's friend, just bring me inventory. But it's a great way, because sometimes you do have friends that have stuff, they want to get it out of the house, and they would maybe not even think of asking you, to sell it for them on eBay, or just to give it to you. Sometimes people are like, please just take it. I want to get it out of the house. And then you've got more inventory.
Businesses do that. They seriously will do. Somebody in my business park was just moving out, and they closed the office. It was an insurance company they closed it down, and they're loading the stuff in a dumpster. Hey, take it if you want. It was a lot of furniture and things, unfortunately, that I couldn't. But if I had a retail shop and could sell that, I mean, it was beautiful furniture.
Wow. Or if it was out the door, where I can sell the printers, because sometimes it's
printers,
the
parts,
but
yep.
Exactly, for parts, that kind of thing. But come join. Social Media Insider is open for new members through Thursday midnight. Come join Libby and Tiffany and Cheryl and Scott and myself. We would love to see you. I'll post any questions below. I'll be here till Thursday to help everybody. But please come join us. We would love to have you join us in Social Media Insider. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.